everybody watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 30 / chase race number 4 of Season 9 NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series competition. I am Levi McIntyre, a.k.a. Thrash Maniac 99, the voice of NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series, here to welcome you to the M&Ms 400 here at M&Ms Superspeedway, where we are about to go 17 laps of racing here at this big 3-mile restrictor plate oval, where, excuse me, I just stumbled right there. Fail. Anyways, where drivers are going to be going at speeds unlike any other. So this is going to be quite an exciting race. But before we take a look at the lineup, let's look at how the chase standings look coming into today's race. After last week's domination at Thornton, Dylan Young continues to hold on to the points lead and actually expanded it by quite a good bit. He leads by 22 points over Dorian Facepuncher, 33 over Carson Gum, 35 over PJ Williams, 40 over David Rivera, 45 over Pichu London, 59 over Jesse Setti, 63 over DJ Curtis, 65 over John Cittadino, 74 over Trent Dunham, 77 over Tanner Sullivan, 80 over Johnny Gardner, and 85 over Katie Cochran. So that is how the chase standings look. Let's look at the lineup. Starting in the last row will be Charles Sanford and Joshua Collard. Top 10, Sean Galligan is on the pole. Next to him is Anthony McCreary. That may not end well. Anyways, row 2 is Jesse Setti and James McLeod. Row 3 is Kyle Matthews and Chase Oliver. Row 4 is Alan Cavagnaro and Carson Gum. And then row 5, John Arndt and Dorian Facepuncher. With that said, let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the M&Ms 400 at M&Ms Superspeedway.
Drivers, start your engines!
Cars in the pace car rolling for the 1 pace lap. So yeah, this is going to be interesting because, like I said, this is a 3-mile oval restrictor plate racetrack. And who knows what kind of racing we're going to see. Could we see tandem racing or pack racing or what have you? We shall see how this race will turn out. And in that top 10 in the lineup, only 3 chasers starting in the top 10. Jesse Setti, Carson Gum, and Dorian Facepuncher. And then behind that is DJ Curtis and David Rivera. And then it's back to Tanner Sullivan. And then it's Katie Cochran. Then Cittadino and PJ Williams. Then it would be Dylan Young, Pichu London, Johnny Gardner, Trent Dunham. And that would be how the chase field look, or where the chase drivers are in the starting lineup. As far as who I think could win this race, anybody can win this race. It doesn't matter where you start, but I might go with an interesting pick. I'm going to go with that 5 of Anthony Ritchie just for a random pick, and also Anthony Ritchie would definitely love to get his first ever win here on a plate track like this. And that 5 car has had success at this track a couple times, back when Austin Weiner was in that car back in the early days of this series. Pace car in the pit road, which means it is time to boogity, 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 go racing. Kyle Matthews leads lap number 1. And Kyle Matthews making this race was very crucial because he's just only 69 points out of 30th in points. So if he were to get into the top 30 this week, well, actually, I almost forgot. He would still be outside looking in because of the simple fact that Cody Lama's in that 48. He's trying to take over for the points for the team. So combined, the 48's still in the top 30 in points. However, after this season, when we get into season 10, top 35 from the end of this season would be locked into the first 5 races of season 10. So Kyle Matthews could still be in good hands to make the first 5 races of next season, as long as he doesn't have any bad luck and drivers behind him in points start making races and start having good runs. So, but with that said, he still leads the way, and for some reason the field is separated. I'm not sure as to why that is. Could there have been a near spin with somebody that separated the field into a... Oh, and sideways was Tanner Sullivan. I saw some smoke. As I'm trying to look back here to see if there was any... Well, I couldn't really tell because I thought I saw skid marks from somebody going sideways, and that could have been the reason why the field is separated and why it's mostly single file up here at the front. But in the meantime, it is Kyle Matthews leading. Right now, the highest running chaser is DJ Curtis running second. And then the next highest... Yeah, I did see skid marks. Let's look at it again up here. Yeah, there are some skid marks. Maybe from cars going sideways into the corner. Oh, and we got a car on pit road, Joshua Collard. Maybe he was the one that started the whole mess. I don't know, or maybe he just now came in. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but anyways, as far as chasers, DJ Curtis right now scored in second. Then let's find Trent Dunham back in 22nd. Dylan Young, 15th. David Rivera, 32nd. Katie Cochran, 14th. Last scored. Pichu London last scored 31st. Tanner Sullivan last scored 7th. Curtis was last scored 2nd. Jesse Setti last scored in 24th. PJ Williams last scored in 28th. Carson Gum last scored 17th. Dorian Facepuncher last scored 19th. John Cittadino last scored 29th, now 30th. And then Johnny Gardner last scored 40th. Back up at the front, still all Kyle Matthews. Nobody's really catching him, and that's because of the fact that they're single file and not really close to one another. In fact, the only double wide racing we got going on up here at the front was here with Anthony McCurry, Seth Cole, and Mason Powers. So, meanwhile, Kyle Matthews has been the dominant car all race long. You never thought you would see this kind of thing happen here on plate tracks, where a car can stay up at the front forever and not have a challenger to him. Looking around, seeing what all is happening, and right now it's like the field is just mostly single to double wide racing. It's like they're not willing to go the extra length and try to take risks in order to reach their goals. Rather unorthodox for this kind of a race. And Kyle Matthews still maintaining a slim lead over DJ Curtis right now. DJ Curtis, if he's going to have any chance of winning this race, he might have to rely on slowing down a little bit and letting some of those guys behind him get to him in order to work together in a draft formation in order to get around the 94, because right now nothing's really happening up here. Sean Galligan staying right behind rookie Alan Cavagnaro right now. Henry Sanford right there in the 5th spot. So right now we only have one chaser in the top 10 right now, and that's DJ Curtis. Margin up at the front is now 0.23. So let's look and see where the chasers currently run with 7 to go. DJ Curtis last scored 2nd. Trent Dunham last scored 18th. Dylan Young last scored 19th. David Rivera last scored 33rd. Katie Cochran last scored 14th. Pichu London last scored 30th. Tanner Sullivan last scored 13th. Jesse Setti last scored in the 26th position. PJ Williams last scored 28th. Carson Gum last scored 23rd. Dorian Facepuncher last scored 20th. John Cittadino last scored 33rd now. And Johnny Gardner was last scored 40th still. Back with the front, DJ Curtis actually has caught the 94, and even Cavagnaro and Galligan are trying to do their best to get up there as well. So we could have a battle for the lead on our hands before this race is over. But right now it doesn't seem like it's happening just yet, though Curtis is closing in. But let's see if he lost any or gained any. He gained 0.02 of a second that last lap. So DJ Curtis could be timing his moves on the 94 potentially. Although he lost a little bit of time right there. Now he's starting to pick up the pace a little bit, as Alan Cavagnaro is actually closing in on the 20, and that could help DJ Curtis make a move around the 94. But man, Kyle Matthews has just been dominant all day long. Led from lap 1 to right now, as it's 4 to go here at M&Ms. Margin actually slipped a little bit by 0.03 of a second. And Alan Cavagnaro is actually closing in on those two. As we are looking around, and it is pretty much single file all around the field with a couple of double wide action. JT Bryant trying to work a move underneath Tanner Sullivan. Doesn't quite get it to work. Maybe 3 wide right here with Trent Dunham, Jake Baskinger, and Chase Oliver, and I think that would be for 13th. Three laps to go here at the line. Kyle Matthews still leads, and the margin up at the front remains the same with the top 3. And we've been clean and green all day long so far, which is kind of a shock. But then again, the way they've been racing, just conservative, it's not really that much of a surprise. Turn 3, let's see what Curtis has for the 94. It really just looks like he's just been stagnant as far as the margin. Like, he's just not able to really close the gap big time on the 94. But let's see the margin this time. Gained it by 300s that time. 2 laps to go. DJ Curtis is going to have to start going now if he's going to have any chance of winning this race. And Alan Cavagnaro is actually starting to slip back a little bit. So that is not good for the 20 as far as any kind of drafting help. As we are coming to take the white flag for the final lap of this event. Let's see the margin up here at the front as the white flag is out. The margin still the same. Although DJ Curtis had a little bit of a faster lap time than Kyle Matthews, but it's not going to be enough. Though he closed in a little bit right there on the 94, does he have anything here at the end of this event? He is closing in, but I don't know if it's enough to really do anything. Though DJ is trying, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Coming out of turn number 4, domination here today at a plate track. Kyle Matthews wins the M&Ms 400 at M&Ms Superspeedway. Seth Colon came out of the pits. Really odd, but then again, this race was strange. But congratulations to Kyle Matthews for getting his first win this season. And what a dominant performance by him as well. But let's look at the rest of the results. DJ Curtis, the highest finishing chaser, comes away with a great run in second. He's definitely going to gain a lot of points on that points lead. Alan Cavagnaro, great run, solid performance in the 3rd position. Sean Galligan, solid finish in 4th, and a solid 5th place run for Dylan Thoreau. Anthony McCreary comes away with a great run in the 6th position. Henry Sanford with a solid run in 7th. Preston Plord with a great run in 8th. James Qualls, solid 9th. And then the 2nd highest finishing chaser, Katie Cochran, in 10th. Rest of the top 20 was Mason Powers, Trent Dunham, Anthony Ritchie, Jake Baskinger, Tanner Sullivan, JT Bryant, Dorian Facepuncher, Chase Oliver, Dylan Young, and Zach Rogers. Rest of the top 30 was Jessica Sheldon, Blaine Keys, John Arndt, Carson Gum, Jesse Setti, Cody Lamas, Caleb Farrell, PJ Williams, Pichu London, and Austin Mongold. Rest of the lead lap cars was John Cittadino, David Rivera, Tim Walsh, Matt McIntyre, Mason Powers, James McLeod, Stephanie Naylor, Michael Norman, Johnny Gardner, Charles Sanford, and Seth Cole, with 1 car lap down, Joshua Collard. But anyways, that does it for our coverage today here at M&Ms Superspeedway. Next week we go to a track for the first time ever, road course at Yas Marina Circuit. That should be exciting, but until then, here are your results, rookie points, and regular points heading into Yas Marina Circuit. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.